you're going to get a copy of today's recording. And I'll let you know in a little bit what you need to comment in the question box so you can also get the slides, because some people like to use the slides as an outline to go to the next item and just follow along. Some people like the recording so they can speed me up, slow me down as they need to, or review anything. Some like both. So right now, if you've commented in the question box, you will get a copy of today's slides. Absolutely, Samantha. I'll make sure you get both. I'll tell you in just a bit how you can get the slides, okay? All right, everybody, let's go ahead and dive in and talk about learn the basics of Google Ads. So today, this is what we're chatting about. Again, if you just came in, because we just had a dozen people come in during that time, if you do need closed caption, you'll go here to this URL, open up another browser, go to the gear icon at the top. That will be, you'll be able to adjust the font there, and we have the fabulous Brooke here helping us and actually doing this all in real time, okay? Yes, Amanda, April, absolutely. You will definitely get both. All right, so let's talk about, oh, first, if you are tweeting or posting, feel free to use the hashtag Grow with Google. It not only lets all your friends and connections know that you're leveling up your skills, but it also lets the Google team know that this matters to you. And I love that because it's just great encouragement that they'll create more like this. And I really want them to, because there's so much out there, so many tools that are low-hanging fruit. I'm definitely about somebody who's a free or small fee person, especially when growing. So I'm a bootstrap marketer, and I think this is really important for you to have access to. So go ahead and tweet that out. You can also use this link if you want to learn any more. But if you're tweeting or posting, use this URL. You can always tag me here at this handle. That's my Twitter handle or my Instagram handle. And I will definitely repost. I will share in my stories, anything that you put out there. I'm happy to do that. All right. All right. Let me see. Some people are finding, okay, perfect. Had to log out and come back in. No worries, Ashley. I saw your comment. So everything worked. How to use this hashtag for other can we use this hashtag for other platforms? Yeah, you can use the hashtag if you want to in LinkedIn, use it, if you want to on Facebook. Feel free to, whatever platform just is where you spend most of your time, feel free to use it. We're watching all socials, right? We're definitely Google search, right? We've got Pat from Dallas too. Wonderful. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and jump in and talk about how we can grow our business and learn the basics of Google Ads. All right, first, we're going to be talking today about how you can advertise on Google, how you can use Google Ads to grow. I'd love to know in the question box. Yes, Jennifer, I see your message there. Would you let me know if you've ever used Google Ads? 1, if you've used it, 2, if you haven't. So just let me know that in the question box. If you have used it, or if you're new to using it, I'm going to also talk about how you can improve those ads. We need to get the best bang for our buck, really good ROI, return on investment. Okay, so I see a lot of people saying no. There's a few people smattering yes. So not to worry, those of you saying yes, not to worry. I am going to make sure that I cover everything that you need as well. And we do want to make sure that you've actually put everything together and are optimizing it. Do stay to the very end though, because I do not record the Q&A at all at the end. I stop recording. That is only for the people who stay live here. Okay, so used a few times, perfect. All right, a lot of some people who say they use it, but they didn't like the experience or they don't want to, they're new, they have used all social, understand that. Now, how to measure your success is also what we'll cover, because if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. $1 or 1 minute spent that's not lifting the bottom line or bringing you closer to your goal is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. So it's important for you to know what you're doing there. And then I'll end with a recap, giving you a to-do list, because while knowledge is not power, that's a myth. Knowledge is not powerful until it's applied. It needs to be applied. That's key. So we'll give a recap of what to apply. I will definitely want feedback from you and shout outs on what you're applying, how you're applying, hold yourself accountable to that, and then always free resources. All right, so let's dive in. I've got the OK SBDC here. Wonderful, Cindy, glad you're here. Perfect, everybody, let's go. So when we talk about advertising on Google, you have seen there's several ways. When you look at an organic Google search, you'll see Google Shopping at the top. Sometimes you'll even see a text ad, a search ad. We know that people go to Google. In fact, they discover a lot of opportunities within Google. Just so that you know, Google is the #1 search engine in the world, and YouTube is #2. In fact, I just did a webinar this morning about how you can use YouTube to grow your business, and we even talked about free ways you can use YouTube ads, which are a part of Google, just so that you know, YouTube is owned by Google, and Google is the number one search engine, YouTube the number 2. Either of those will help you show up. And for a business, the visibility for us is so important, because if people don't know we exist, they can't do business with us. So we know that people discover and they see things when they are out there, and when you have ads, you can promote what you're doing. This is very key, okay? Because this amplifies. Now understand, ads do not solve everything. Please slow down a moment and understand that. They do not solve everything. If your message is muddled, if you do not know who your target market is, and you're trying to reach everybody and anybody and somebody, you'll get their second cousin nobody, and you'll spend a whole lot of money. It really is important for you to know what your offer is, what you plan on sending out there. So what is the conversion event? You're going to hear me talk about that. Even though I'm in e-commerce very heavily, I would say that's a sale. You know, conversion event is a sale, but sometimes it's them filling out a contact form, downloading a PDF, watching a video completely, going to your site and taking some action on a call to action that you put out on an ad, be it through Google or socials or even a post. Anything that you're doing out there, when it comes to your site, that is a conversion event. And we talk about conversion events quite a bit in ads, because that's how we determine whether or not an ad is successful. So you need to know all of that up front. If you're just going in there hoping upon hope that, hey, I'm going to put some ads out there and hopefully I'll get some eyeballs looking at me, while hope is wonderful to have, it is a truly poor strategy. So think about, who is your target? What's your message? What's your offer? And really look at your offer. I see a lot of people promote offers and then realize they have very little margin, so they make very little money, or they don't know what the next step is, why they're doing that. Again, know how this is actually helping your marketing. Remember, $1 1 minute spent that's not lifting the bottom line or getting you closer to your goal is $1 or 1 minute spent too much. Okay, so yes, YouTube is a search engine, Felicia. We were just talking about in the last training. So it's a search engine. It's the number 2 search engine in the world, and it's also the number 2 social network in the world. So it's a pretty powerful tool that also, when you put YouTube videos, will show up in a Google search. So it's a great way for you to dominate the first page of a Google search. And you really do need to, because people don't look past that. Every search page of Google, an organic search, gives you 10 organic search results, and people don't look past that. So how ads work is when people want to find something. And again, remember, they're going to bid, so they're going to search. You know, the Google search bar looks like this. You have business bid, and then your relevant ad will show up. And you do need to know how people search. That's why it's really important for you to understand your market and really know who you're targeting. Because if you try to target anybody, everybody, and somebody, you'll get that second cousin nobody, because it's just too much. It's too wide. You'll also spend Coca-Cola type money to reach out and touch everybody. Your message needs to resonate. When people see it, they need to think, oh my gosh, they get me. And that will encourage them to click, because you truly understand and you're using their words, not your words, their words. And as professionals in our business, it's important for us to know how to connect the dots between what we have, our features, and what they need, the benefits. What are they getting from this ad, or what this product is, or service, or solution that we're promoting out there? All of that is the homework that has to be done first before you go into ads, or you're going to spend a lot of money. And those of us in small business, cash flow is so important. You can't afford to do this if you're not really specific, because ads amplify. That's all they do. And if you are confused, it amplifies confusion. So if you're confusing to your customers when they read, or your potential customers, that's confusion that you're amplifying. So there are many ad formats. Text, of course, that's just how it sounds. Text, there's image ads, you'll also see there. Shopping ads are the ones at the very top. So you see those usually right here in organic search. This is usually a text ad here, and it does say with a little green box, it usually denotes it's an ad. There's a dynamic search ad. So that's a search ad that's actually created coming from your website. So it's actually perusing everything on your website, and now it comes and pulls different things out in a dynamic search ad. There's a call only ad, only you want to get calls. So there's local franchisees that I work with who they don't do a lot of business from people leaving information on a form. Their business is by people picking up the phone and calling. So we actually look at the call only ads and focus there on the call only ads, and then we're able to show them, okay, you've got all these phone calls, all the phone numbers that you got, you spend about 2 minutes on the phone here, 7 minutes, are these all good? And we start teaching Google's AI, artificial intelligence, how to present your ad in the best way, most cost-effective way. And then there's video ads, which you see in YouTube, okay? Now, we're going to focus today because we're talking about the basics of ads, which setting goals and understanding who your target market, your message, and your offer, and what kind of return you plan on getting from your offer is all part of basic. But today we're going to be talking about pay per click. So we'll talk about text and pay per click. You pay when somebody clicks. So PPC, pay per click, or CPC, cost per call. So they click or they call, because some people, again, they're on their mobile device. This is where 76% of us go when we want to do something, no go, do, and buy. We go here and we might click on something to make a call right away because we have an inquiry or a question. So it could come from an ad, so we pay per call. So every time somebody clicks on that for a call, or PPC, pay per click, that's when we pay. Now, you do need to be signed into your Google account before you do any of this. So if you have a Gmail account, you're golden. That's a Google account. So a personal Gmail account is all you need. If you don't have a Google account, then all you need to do is go to this URL here at the bottom left. You're going to sign up for a Google account. You'll use your current email address. It does not change it to Gmail. You'll create a password, and like any other password protected site online, this is what you'll use to access Google Ads, okay? Again, for those of you that just came in, I see a bunch came in. If you need closed caption, feel free to use this URL here and use the little icon at the top to determine how big or how small you need the font to be, okay? So when you set up Google Ads, you're going to visit g.co/ads, and do know that you are going to get a copy of today's slides too if you've commented in the question box already. If you haven't done that, comment, as well as today's recording. Now, do know all of those aren't going to come till tomorrow. It takes about 24 hours for all of this to render, just because it's a busy platform. But do not think I forgot you. The system is pulling if you've actually commented in the questions box. So make sure you've commented there, and you'll get a copy of it. It'll send it to the email that you registered with. All right. But if you want to take a screenshot, let me get my pointer out of the way so you know where to go to start Google Ads. You're going to click Start Now. And then all you're going to do is follow those prompts. It's pretty intuitive and helpful. Now, this sets up a smart campaign, which is what I encourage people to do when it's their first time to work with ads. Why? Because it's pulling on Google's artificial intelligence and learning from industries or other businesses in your industry before you have your own actual numbers. Now, when you get your own actual numbers, I do a lot of manual bidding because I have actual real data. So when you look at data, just so you know, there is data, your gut feeling. That's the worst one to go with, by the way. Gut feeling will get you to a certain spot, but it won't get you to the next level. Then after that, there's industry standards, right? And so that's a lot of what AI is looking at, industry standards, and also real data from industry that is utilizing Google Ads already in your similar industry or in your industry. But then the next is personalized data. That's really more fine-tuned because it's about you and your business. It's about the people that come visit your site and actually click on your ads. And once you have that information, now you can get super customized and really resonate with that target audience. So by default, Google Ads will start you in Smart Campaign. You'll look at this when you go to g.co/ads, and this is the first screen that you're going to experience. The first thing you need to do is select a goal. So the reason I talked about it earlier was not to waste your time. It was to explain to you that you need to know this next step and you need to tell Google this next step. Google's not going to tell you it. Is it to get more calls? So do you want more calls? Will that help grow your business? Is it for people to go to your website? Either they're going to buy something from your website, sign up, then you want them to visit it, watch a video, you want them to read your bio and which really elevates your professional brand. What is it? Or is it a physical location? Right? So you want to really pick a specific goal for your ad so you'll now know how to measure that ad, okay? Oh, you're very welcome, Leslie. Eric, perfect. Perfect, no worries. And no worries. This is going to take you through it and you'll get a copy of the slides and this recording, but that won't happen till tomorrow. So if you want to take a screenshot, you can do that. If you want to act on some to-do things that you're going to apply today. Remember, knowledge is not powerful until it is applied. All right, so now you're going to enter your business name. This is your chance, remember, to put the business name just like you want people to see it. So that's your first step. What I love about Google Smart Campaigns, it really is intuitive. Walking you through the hardest lift you're going to have right there at the beginning is knowing what your goal is. What do you want this ad to do for you? After that, you're going to enter a location where you want people to actually go to when they click on that ad. Let me give you an expert tip. Do not put your home page there. All right, the biggest mistake people make on ads, I see it on social, I see it in Google, is that you put your homepage. And I've sat across from thousands of small businesses, especially when I was doing a lot more traveling with Google and doing a lot of conferences. I've sat across from so many who are like, but Maria, I'm so excited because I got their attention and I want them to see everything that I have, and it's all on the homepage. The problem is that your homepage, while you may know it, often becomes the junk drawer for everybody. You put everything in there because you're just so excited to get people's attention, and now they don't know how to find what they're looking for. That's the fastest way you can get them to bounce, click off in less than a minute or less, so they leave your site without doing anything. And it's a waste of the click that they spent on your ad dollars. Take them where you told them you're going to take them. Not only does that help them easily buy from you, it really just lifts that friction that they have of, where do I find things on the homepage? Because the number one complaint of people when they go to people's homepage is the most disorganized thing that they can ever see. That's the number one complaint. So now you take them where you told them you're going to take them. It also builds trust. Because if you do what you say you're going to do, it builds trust. So let's say I do an ad saying, we have this wonderful heirloom tomato recipe. Come take a look at it. And I send them to my site and I send them to the homepage, and it's how to grow heirloom tomatoes, where you can get heirloom tomato seedlings, what's the kind of zone, seasonal zone, or what zone in the US do you need to grow at certain months. If it's all that and they're just sitting there going, where is that tomato recipe she promised me? Now they'll click off. But I take them to the page where the tomato recipe is. Now I have a chance, once they look at that, saying, hey, have you ever thought of growing your own? Take a look at this video, and now that you've done this, I'm going to walk you through the actual recipe and then talk a little bit. There's little smatterings of how to grow it, what you need to do, what we can do for you, how we can help you have really fresh heirloom tomatoes. Okay? So remember, I know I've said that quite a bit about this needs to not be the homepage, but it is the number one mistake and the most costly one that small businesses make. Any business makes, actually, not just small. All right, the next thing to do is, can I use this if I have a Google Business Profile website? Absolutely, Tani, absolutely, you sure can. It applies for that too. In fact, I like to link all the Google tools because understand Google's the number one search engine in the world, and the reason it is because all the information, the more correct information people find, then they're going to come back to the tool and use it. The only way Google can confirm what all the information is correct for a business is by seeing several places it's confirmed. So I like to actually link your Google Business Profile with Google Ads, with Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and then also YouTube. All of those Google tools, and those are all free Google tools. You are now showing Google that this information shows consistently that it's correct, and that actually elevates you in the algorithm and makes you more visible. So that's one of the free things that you can do to optimize where you show up in an organic search. Does the advertiser get access to contact information on customer who clicks through? Not on customers who click through, but if you call. So if they call, there's a call report that comes in, and I actually can see the phone number, so I know if somebody's calling out of area, or maybe they called and you were looking for a windshield replacement to your car, but they were calling looking for a home glass window replacement. So they're not a good fit. Now we can teach Google and say, no, that phone number didn't work, that didn't work. So we could teach Google exactly what it's presenting and what's not a good number. A lot of times it's an out of the area thing, but so not for when you click through, but for calls. So some people will do that too. Okay, good questions, everybody. Now you can also add keyword themes. So what happens in Smart Campaigns, it takes you through, remember what it's walking you through, and the reason I like to start people here is because you may not be familiar with your keyword. That's also the number one question people ask when we're talking about ads is, what keywords do I focus on? And a lot of people don't know how to research keywords. What's nice is Smart Campaigns gives you some extra help and support by providing keyword themes already around your industry. So it's looking at your website, looking at your industry, learning everything from all the different Google tools that you've connected with there, and it is giving you a keyword theme that you can use, and you can add these things right here, suggested keywords, or you can remove them if they don't apply to you. So now this gives you the opportunity to smartly show where you're at and capture your customers, okay? You also can decide on the location. So if you're location based and you really want to focus, let's say you're doing a geographic, real focus area, you can do that as well by either putting your address in here and saying and dragging this bar over by how many miles, but you can also put counties in there. You can put zip codes in there. It makes it super easy. A lot of times I'll just drop zip codes in there too. How do keywords differ from SEO, or are they the same? They're actually the same. So search engine optimization is the way the search engine sees and looks and finds you. And the only way it can do that is by you being relevant to what somebody's typing in or saying, hey, Google, hey, Alexa. Apologize right now if I set off anybody's Alexa, because I've done that before in a webinar by saying that. But whatever they're saying, so it's not just words that they're actually putting in like this, but it could be something they're speaking, a voice search, they're using key phrases. All of that gives the search the ability, search algorithm ability to match to what somebody's looking for. And that's why it's really important for you to understand keywords. It's not the words that you're thinking that people find you with, it is the words that they are using. That's really important. You need to be an expert on your customer. That's something Google can't do for you. You have to be the expert, and you can learn about being an expert though through a lot of Google searches. And I'll talk more about that if we have enough time, because I really think that a lot of people don't know how to powerfully look for keywords. So I'll talk about that a little bit more if we have time at the end. Okay, make sense? What if I want to advertise through the DSA? Yes, absolutely. You could put that in as well. It will take all of those different areas that you're interested in. Okay. Can you select entire states? Yeah, you sure can, Amanda. Entire states, entire region. Like sometimes I'll focus on the southern region, but again, that's your call. You can decide how you want to do that. Now, the big thing here is set a budget. I do actually take whatever Google recommends as a budget. I've done that always, and it has served me well. But here's the key. It is not a set it and forget it. You need to look at this, set the budget to whatever they recommend. So here I would do $10 a day. And then in 3 days, I'm going to come back and see what's performing. And I will now start taking budget away from some of the keywords that I'm using or some of the ads and putting more in. For example, if I've got an ad I've spent $5 on and it's gotten 0 as far as any conversion event, then I'm not going to put any more money behind it. I'm going to go ahead and pause that ad and not use it and focus on the other ad. But let's say I've got an ad that I spent $5 on and it's gotten me 5,000 bucks. Okay, now I might take that $5 from the one that didn't do anything and make it $10 for that one and wonder if it'll go from $5 it was bringing for $5, it was bringing in 5,000. If I go to $10, will it bring 10,000? Is it going to grow exponentially? I really want to know if I can do that. So I will test those things out. Do know that ads is about testing. It's a lot of testing for you to get to know your particular target audience, really, and to understand the words that resonate with them. Make sense? What if you're virtual? Can you leave the location blank? Absolutely. But Deborah, I encourage you to look at, because it's a lot to try to advertise to the entire United States. That's a lot of money. And I like to really nail it before I scale it. So when I say that, I might focus on just Oklahoma. And I'm going to test it out in Oklahoma and see if these words work, because I don't want to spend money, on an ad that I spent $5 and now it's not getting any return. So I might test it out small, nail it before you scale it, and now you expand. I know that these works work. The word that really resonates with people is I hate dealing with smelly puppy pads. So that's the word I'm going to use compared to somebody saying, I don't know how to use a puppy pad, or how do you train a dog on a puppy pad? Those words may not be resonating, but this one gets them to click and actually gets them to spend money at the store or on the site. Remember, whatever your conversion event is. How many ads can you run at once? As many as you like. As many as you like. Okay. Again, it depends on your budget and I always say test small though. That's really, really important. I do not want people to go out there and spend, because I'm a bootstrap marketer, and I don't want people to go spend a lot of money and then be sorely disappointed or out of cash flow because you spent really big and you didn't really test and resonate. That's why I said earlier, Deborah, about, the whole United States would be a lot to spend on, especially depending on your keywords. There are some expensive keywords out there. It's just a huge area. I like to nail it before I scale it. I go very, very small. Sometimes I even go really local, because I might look at my zip code 79707 and be able to, because I know a lot of people in town, I can reach out here and I can say, okay, I noticed this, give me a little bit of feedback. My friends know I'm always testing, and I always ask them. I don't just sell to them ever. In fact, I ask them for their input, and they're always happy to do that. So sometimes I'll do that just because it's nicer to be able to reach people in a smaller pond. Okay. Any other questions? What if you select an area, but a lot of users are on VPNs connecting to the internet out of their search? Absolutely, that could happen. Mark, that can happen. What I found though is the majority of people They don't use all that yet. They really don't. And until I get to the point where, okay, now I've spent $100 and it hasn't become 100,000. Let's say I spent $100 and it's now just stayed at, you know, it was at 90,000 before. Now it's just 90,100. Now I'm going to say, all right, let me look at this market. Maybe I need to try to expand this out a little bit more because I'm not reaching everybody. I'm not getting the exponential return. So now it's time to look and see other keywords, look at the market, even the other geographies. It's time to reassess. Okay, makes sense? So once you select the budget, make sure it's not a set it and forget it. You come back and you check it, test, test, test. You will review your campaign, take a look at it before you ever publish it, double check your spelling and everything. You can also set up your conversion tracking. You would do that within Google Ads and also Google Analytics. Let me know in the question box, how many of you have Google Analytics? Because Google Analytics is key for all of this, especially if I'm driving them to a website. And for those of you using Google Business Profile and sending them there, you will have insights in your Google Business Profile that you can look at to see from your ads what's driving to Google Business Profile and what people do next. So what Google Analytics does is it actually tells you what people are doing on your site, what page they came in from, so it could have been an ad, what device they are in, where they're located at, which mark will help you now even focus more. Because if I see, well, everybody's been coming from Dallas here, and everybody from Dallas is actually clicking through and they're buying something, then I might focus more of my efforts and budget on Dallas. Even though I can serve the whole world, I'm going to still be very focused in getting the best return that I can get. And part of that is looking at the demographics, the geographics, and the psychographics, and understanding the behavior of what somebody does on your site. Google Analytics helps you do that. It's a free tool. And again, it's something that maybe your Google partners would be interested in bringing me back to talk about, because I do train on Google Analytics. Oh, use it all the time. Perfect. Yes, so much insight there, and you can get lost in the data too. I'm a data geek, and I can spend so much time in there, and it's really, I go in there very focused to look at different things that are goal specific too. Perfect. All right. So let's talk about this. Measuring your marketing. So you could do that also within ad campaigns. So I like to use both side by side, analytics and ad campaigns. You can see how the performance is doing, whether or not the keywords are doing well for you, whether or not you need to change up an ad, if it's really performing well or it needs to be adjusted, well, you can turn or pause anyone that's not performing for you. And you can also make adjustments to your actual budget there too. So that's what I do encourage you to do. I love the Smart Campaign, but I don't want you to just get in the framework of it's all automated, because you know your business better than anybody else. You're the expert, right? So just so you know, with Smart Campaigns, what you're seeing in front of you here on this slide is with Smart Campaigns, a lot of this is automated for you as you learn and become familiar with Google Ads. And I like to do this because this is a training wheels, and it's better to underspend than overspend, right? We want to get better return. But once you do, you might want to go to search campaigns, or some of you who are familiar with ads already might do search campaigns and manage it yourself. So you may be in this column. And if you are, or maybe you've done this before, but you're in a new ad account and you're automatically being brought to this, where you have to actually start a Smart Campaign, because by default, Google will take you, when you go to g.co ads and you set this up, you will start here. You can go down here to this box here and switch to expert mode. So remember what I said, expert mode, now you have to manage all this. So the good thing, if you're experienced, because you have your own personal data and you know exactly what you're doing in there, you can do really, really well and even make your dollar do more. But understand, if you're not experienced, this can be really, really costly to be here. And that's why I encourage you to start Smart Campaigns and get to know it first, get familiar with the terms and the platform. All right, so that's where you get started here. You can switch to that expert mode. When you're in expert mode, you have the opportunity to see and start and see all the campaigns that you have available, and you can select the campaign settings. You can set up your ad groups, so you might have different ads presenting to different groups, or different sets of ads, different offers. And now you can also review and launch it too. So you do have all of these opportunities to say you want a shopping ad to perform up there. Maybe you have a refrigerator you're selling and you want to showcase all of the different great reviews it's gotten, so you could do that too. Maybe you have something that's service focused. You want to ask somebody, you're coaching and you need them to fill out a PDF, or you want to give them a PDF about these are the 3 things you should ask a coach before you work with them. That really helps position you as an expert, and also builds trust, which we know people do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? So any questions before I go further here? I've covered quite a bit, but we still have a few more to go in improving your ads, especially those of you who've run ads before. You might be just chomping at the bit ready for this, but let me know in the question box. For those of you who just came in, that is the best place to communicate with me. All right, I will keep that up and be looking at it. Let's talk about improving your ads. So when you have a text ad, this is what you have available to you. 3 headlines. So there are only 30 characters there each. So a character is a space, it's a letter, it's a grammatical mark. So punctuation, periods, comments, all of those there. You also have 2 description lines, right? Remember now, for you to think for a moment, when people know you exist and they know you have a product or service that can serve them, how are they searching for you? Okay, think about that. Think about the words that they use. When they don't know you exist, but they know that there's a product or service that can serve them, what are they searching for? You may see them, they come out on the Facebook home feed and they just shout out to everybody, hey, anybody have somebody that can help me with my kids' teeth? All right, they might say, does anybody know an orthodontist, or does anybody know an optometrist that does laser surgery? So it could be all of those. We've seen people ask for recommendations on social, just shouting out to the feed. But if they don't know you exist, and they have no clue that there's a product or service that can serve them, what are they searching for? It's really important for you to be that expert in your customer or on your customer, because if you don't know them, you could spend a lot of money missing them. And I would much rather you get the better return, which means you connect with them, you resonate, and they want to do business with you. Has this been recorded that we might review? Yes, absolutely, Winston. You will get a copy of this, but it will not be till tomorrow. It takes that long to be able to render that. But the fact that you've commented here means that you'll get a copy. You do have to comment here, and it'll pick up the email address that you registered with, and then you'll get a copy. Great question, though. Difference in boost and ads. Are you talking about Mahalo? Yes, absolutely. Are you talking about social boost? I'm not. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for commenting there so you can get a copy of that. And then you're going to choose that one URL. Remember what I said about cautiously just use the URL that you promised to take them to. If you told them you're going to get to see an unboxing of this, make sure you take them directly there, okay? So great text ads can be put together here. Use this. Let me give you some of the highlights of what you'll see when you go to that URL. Okay, so you'll see here, for example, this is that URL. They'll walk you through this. And I love this link because this is Google Ads Help. It'll talk about highlighting what makes you unique. You know, what are your VPs, your vision, purpose, values, and passion? Because just like any other business, VPs are important and those are yours. Maybe it could be price and promotion. Maybe it's the call to action. Remember what I said about calls to action are important, because if you don't know if they're taking action, you can't measure it. That's also important. You could also here appeal to customers on mobile, so you can focus just on mobile, especially if you've got an app you've designed and downloading this. Or you can also check for common ad text mistakes too. So you want to look at that, because sometimes capitalization will get you in trouble. So when you go to that link, you'll have all of that access to you when you get a copy of today's slides, because you've commented there in the question box. But let's say for an ad, somebody was looking for spices versus buy specialty spices. So again, think about what you can do to make this even more specific to them and to really understand what they're looking for. So you want to have it very focused. You want to have ad groups that are specifically focused, again, towards a region. Sometimes I'll target a region, like for example, we know when in the humid areas, especially now with summer coming up, humid areas actually go through a product 2 times faster than the dry areas. So we will focus just on the humid areas. Does it mean that we can't do business with the dry areas? Of course we can. But why would we spend our money there when we get better return in the humid areas? And we know that's an easy lift, an easy sell. So you're going to write simple yet enticing ads. Remember to use the words that people use. That's why I told you to slow down. You don't have to just talk to your customers when you want to sell them something. Get to know them and get to know the words that they use. And if you have no customers yet, not to worry. Talk to friends and family member who are maybe their best customers of your competitor. I'm a big fan of competitor research, and they do a lot of heavy lifting already. So it's important for you to take a look at that, and I'll show you how to do a little bit of research on that at the end. Okay, I just want to make sure that we don't miss what we need to cover here in this presentation. And then of course, remember, review it regularly. So for keywords, what you can do in Smart Campaigns, remember you saw me bring up the keywords there that were shown, they were presented. You could add more or you can click an X. So why you need to know this is because maybe it's not performing for you. Like here, look at this ground pepper one. 11,661 impressions. So what are impressions? Those are eyeballs that look at it. But eyeballs mean nothing to me because this is an eyeball. And we see people scrolling all day long. They have no intent, no interest in your product at all or your service. And it's showing here only 7 clicks. So while I've shown it to everybody, it's only 7 clicks. So I might turn that off. That's what's known as a negative keyword. That means if people search for ground pepper and they do happen to click on it, I am not going to get charged per click for that or per call because that's not a best customer for me. For me, it's showing that it doesn't show very much. It has less clicks because what happens a lot of times is if you get a lot of impressions but less clicks, it'll be expensive. It'll be $5 a click, $10 a click. Heck, I've seen 17 bucks a click, and I would much rather it be 20 cents a click. 10 cents a click. I would much rather that, no matter what the amount is that I'm going to make on there. So I look to that to be able to help adjust my search phrases, and you can do that yourself manually in Smart Campaigns. It does provide you the opportunity to do that. So for example, if we look at spice, remember what we were talking about a moment ago with the spice shop. When they look at spice, ads that have the word spice, when somebody's looking at the word spice, are going to show up there. If your words in your ad say spice, then your ad's going to show up anytime somebody uses the word spice. But it may not be specifically your best customer. Now, if you see the quotes around here, that's a specific phrase. That means it only can be spice. Right here, it could be Spice Girls, right? Could show up there. Old Spice. Okay, so it could be all that, or it could be sugar and spice, right? So it could be something else that they're totally looking different for, and sometimes this won't get you the right match. You'll see here the phrase is close to that, so it's a close variation, but when you use the brackets, it's got to be a specifically spice. So while this could be spice, it could be fennel spice, it could be mustard spice, but maybe you just want them to find spice specifically, or you want to take girls away. That's the negative keyword we were talking about. So we don't want Spice Girls, we just want spice. Okay, so we're teaching Google Ads, we don't want to pay when somebody's clicking around and looking for the Spice Girls. Make sense? Now the keyword planner is what I love. Okay, this is a great tool. It's a free tool. So to utilize Google Ads keyword planner, it costs you no money whatsoever. You access that by going to Google Ads. Remember, you go to g.co/ads, and now you can go into the keyword planner and you can see things like, what's the monthly search look like? What's the cost going to be? What are the most popular searches? And not only use this in your ads, you can use this in your blog post when you're naming your videos. You can use this in your social posts because a lot of the socials show up high in an organic search. So anytime that you can win it organically, I am all for that. Understand, I'm a big fan of you promoting your business anywhere you can, from any of the socials to your Google business profile to your own website. It doesn't matter. I have a lot of people come to me and say, Maria, but I want people just to go to my website. That's great, as long as everything links to your website. Your YouTube channel, if it links to your website, that's promoting your website. I would much rather have more horses in the race to win somebody's attention than just one, just my website. I want to meet them wherever they feel comfortable and where they spend time. That is really fishing where the fish are, and you show up on their radar faster if you're already where they're at, as opposed to you spending a lot of time, energy, and money for when they're over here and you're trying to convince them to come over here and take a look. Okay. All right, so as we look at this, let me show you what this looks like. And I'm actually showing you this on a disabled, so it's a canceled Google account, because I'm going to prove to you, you don't need money to see this. All right, so this is a canceled Google Ads account. When you're looking for the keyword planner, you'll go up here to the little wrench at the very top, click on the wrench, and see here at the very left column, it says keyword planner. So what happens here with the keyword planner is you can discover new keywords. So you can discover here, click here, and you can discover it a couple of ways. You can do it with a website. So you can put your website in to see what keywords it picks up that your website has that would be a good match for what people are searching for. Or you can put a keyword here that you've already discovered, or maybe you've asked a customer about, or you've seen really perform well on social. So let's say I'm looking for coffee. And then what happens then is I can broaden my search. It gives me suggestions, but I can also look here and see, let's say I want to look for the last month. right? So I can put the time from last month and I can see, wow, you know, look at all these people looking for coffee here. So coffee near me or takeout coffee. So, but I can see here espresso is really hot right now and it's trending up higher. So I might want to put in my ads, hey, have you been thinking about a great espresso for the springtime? Are you ready for some espresso? We've got great espresso. Enjoy espresso on our patio. There are so many things that you can do in your ad, and you can see that when we say the bid, that's the cost per click on average that you're going to pay. Okay, so here it is. I'm sorry, cost per click right here. The top bid is how much somebody is paid the most of. So I try to keep my cost per click kind of low, but also with getting great visibility. So I might even use, since this cost per click is lower, French press is lower than espresso, I might talk about French press. I might even look at hand pour, okay? Because if that's a specialty, again, remember your VP is what makes you unique. If that's a specialty, you do hand pour, you might do that too, okay? Is that helpful for you? Let me know if you've ever used that before and if that's helpful for you. If you've got more questions, let me know too. But that can help you determine what your keywords are. And I use that all the time, even for organic, right? When I'm writing a blog post, really in there all the time. Okay, let me see. So you'd be paying $1.59 for someone to click. How much money or can we make on coffee? Well, that depends, Winston. Now, it could be, am I selling coffee by the cup? Am I selling it by the package? Am I selling it by the case? You know, what's provided to them? Or is it that I draw them in with coffee and I sell a gooseneck pourer and a whole coffee setup? And I almost, you know, my business is that you can have your own barista. You know, you can be your own barista, right? It could be that. So it really depends. That's why it's really important for you to understand what your market is and what your offer. For example, I work with some businesses where it could be a little plastic toy for a dog is their lost leader. So they're not going to advertise that. Why would they advertise that? That's something they put out on social all the time, but they don't want to lose $1 every time somebody clicks because that's not something they're making money on. They're going to put something that they're making 5x or 10x of their cost of goods sold. So it's important for you to know your business and know your numbers. Again, that's really important. If I give you any advice today other than measuring your marketing, the other is know your numbers, because you can't, it's really tough to run business without knowing numbers. You may need to find an expert to help you with that too. Kelly, so I'm understanding that you set a budget and you get more clicks than what your budget allows. Will Google stop the campaign? Yes, it will stop the campaign and say it's not presenting your ad because there's not enough budget. And it will encourage you, of course, to spend more on a budget, but you need to make a decision of that, if that really gets you more money. And if you're testing it, if you'll watch it, because again, remember what I said, if I'll take that $5 here and apply it over here, could it get me more? If I increase it by $2 a day, does that get me more? It's important for you to measure that, okay? Now you can also use ad extensions here, which are call extensions, which encourages people to call, site links, which go specifically to different sites. Let's say you're selling sunglasses and you want to focus on Polaroid glasses, sports glasses. You can put that here too. Gaming glasses. Call out extensions are actually the call out extensions. Those are different extensions of different things that you're calling out and you're focusing on from your site. Or it could be a location extension. You really want to show that you're in Durant and you want, or you're in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and you want to show people that you are in their local area. So you might do that, especially if you're focused towards any of the Albuquerque area codes, or zip codes, I should say, not area codes, zip codes. Now, more extensions you can put are price. So some people do this, and the reason why is because the more extensions you have, so remember we started with this, and then you go to here, the more extensions you have, when somebody's looking on a mobile device or on a laptop or tablet, what happens is the extensions actually give you more visual real estate, which gets more of their attention. So some people will put this here, especially if you're having a sale or a promotion, maybe you have a structured snippet, so it's really showing, you know, this is our, you know, this is our casual glasses, then this is our surfing glasses, and this is even more specific. These are our skateboard glasses. It could be that it's just an app, so you only want to show it to show up to people who are on a mobile, so they can click right away and download your app. And also there are automated extensions, again, pulling from your website, so you could learn that way too. Excuse me. So how you measure success? Okay. Oh, great. Thank you, everybody, for asking questions. What are your goals? I know I spent a lot of time at the beginning of this because that is where I see the most pain point and the most cost. So it really is important for you to have a great understanding and be very specific about that. That's one of those moments specific to be terrific. So we do know impressions. Remember, that's eyeballs. That's just people looking. It's how the way basic traditional media, you know, when you're looking at the TV and the Nielsen rating says, man, 100,000 people watched this show for 5 minutes. Those are just eyeballs. It doesn't mean you have their attention. Clicks, you know you've got their attention. So that's letting you know that, hey, what you're saying here resonates. But if they don't convert, then maybe something on your site is not aligned with what you're saying on your ad that is causing them to go away. And that's when you look at Google Analytics to see, you know, what pages did they look at? Where did they drop off? What page did you lose them at? Who did they go to next? Did they go to your competitors' actual site? You can see all that within Google Analytics. So your reports and smart campaigns to start out with is look and see what your impressions, clicks, and your calls are and your conversions. You can have that activated within Google Ads, and I look at that all the time because it's really important that everything is doing work for me. I'm not one to let go of my money without it actually working. You can also look in your search campaigns to see how they're performing, to see what keywords are performing. You can have a better idea too of the demographic of people who are coming to you, especially if you've got limited funds. Now you can focus just on that demographic and see if you can make more money there. Not that you couldn't serve everybody, but again, that's the biggest failure of businesses is they try to cast such a wide net, but they don't have the cash flow to be able to do that. So it becomes very expensive. And I don't want to hear about any of you guys closing down because you spent all your money in ads, no matter where you do ads. Now, I do encourage you to link that Google Analytics with Google Ads because the two of them speaking together really give you a well-rounded picture, but it also helps Google Ads learn more about your best customers that are buying from your site or converting. Remember what I said, converting isn't just buying. So to set up Google Analytics, this is the URL you need to go to. You might want to take a screenshot of that before you get a copy of the slides and you get a copy of this, which will be sent to you again tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow. You will get it as soon as it's rendered. I'll send both of those to you. Actually, the system will automatically do that. But this will help you get started, and I'm happy to come back and train you on how to use this because I do have a webinar that we do for Google, which is use analytics to make better business decisions. So I'm happy to do that to the Google partners in the room, the New Mexico Out Business Alliance, and then also Oklahoma SBDC. So just let me know if you need that. All right, I have covered a lot of stuff. And remember, I did say at the very end, I would show you how to do some of the keyword research, but I do want to finish up in case somebody needs to get down the road because we're 5 minutes before the top of the hour. And then I will cover that for anybody who wants to hang out. I'll stay here. But to recap, it's important for you to understand your customers are everywhere. You know, I'm right now here on my desktop, but a lot of times I'm on my phone. Sometimes I'm on the iPad. Sometimes on another phone. I actually am one of those weird people that have a few phones. So do understand that it's still the same person and it's still the journey. So you and being an expert on your customer needs to understand their decision journey. What information do they need to be able to help them buy from you or do business with you? You really need to know that left and right, backwards and forwards, okay? So sometimes they may go to YouTube, they might even go through Google search, they might look at the business profile, they might use Google Lens and take a picture of it and then search it that way. If you're not familiar with Google Lens, there's a whole class on how you can position your business to be in Google Lens using Google Merchant Center. Again, that's all free. All the tools I'm mentioning now are free, and the ads are the only ones that's a paid part of it, and that's when they click or when they call. And then of course you could do even an email, send that out. So there's different things you can do for conversion events to keep people doing business with you. And if you want to continue your education every quarter, we have Google On Air. So if you want to go to this URL here at the bottom left, you can sign up and be notified. It is topics that have everything to do with business right now. Another great tool, excuse me, that I really like is Google Primer. This is a free app that you can download in Google Play or also within the iPhone store, the App Store. And what you can do here is you download it, and there's wonderful lessons here about your website, Google Ads, how to set up a productive and profitable YouTube channel. All of those lessons are there. Even though all my degrees are in marketing, I love to go here because this is pertinent, up to date, and it's being released actually by Google. So you get it straight from the horse's mouth. And then if you want to take a deeper dive into ads, you just really want to be an expert at this. Maybe you're thinking that you want to offer this service. Maybe you're an agency. And I would love that because you've got so many Google partners here and they would love to be able to refer somebody locally. It's always better when you can work with somebody locally. It's an easier reach. So you can up-level your skill by going here to Skillshop. These are 100% free. Once you're certified for a year. You keep your certification up, but you will know the latest and greatest, and Google will be more likely to be actually able to refer you. For example, if we were doing this live right now, I would ask in the room, say, okay, who here is Google certified? Because I want everybody to turn to them and do business with them if they are looking for help with Google Ads. I would much rather promote you, okay? And then if you'd like to learn anything, if you go to this site, google.com/grow, what you can do here is you can see either if you're a teacher or your local business, any of this. What's nice is your Google partner that invited you can have access to all of this. Access is the Google team. They have the boots on the ground there to help you, and they're there to support you. They really want you to succeed, okay? All right, now we are at time, 2 minutes before, so I'll finish up some questions. Does anybody have questions here? What is your website to see what services you offer? Oh, Winston, you can actually go to the email that notified you. You'll see my website there. It actually goes to my website, so you can go there. You can also follow me on social because all of my bio links actually link there. So I'd love for you to do that. It's hard to say it because I can't type it. This is the hard part of the question box. It's not a chat box, so I can't type it here. And it's harder to say because, you know, there's a B in there and some people take that as a D. So it'd be easier if you do that. I hope that helps. Oh, you're very welcome. Oh, perfect, Elizabeth. I'm glad it was helpful to you. All right, I'm going to turn off the recording.